I want to share with you a technical experiment I did this week.
Do.
So I was hanging out with the youngling on Tuesday, something like that, and we had some eats and stuff. And then I said, oh, instead of just I don't know, both watching videos or doing some shit, I was like, do you want to play Settlers of Catan?
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, but you need three players, and there's only two of us. And I was like, well, I know, right? Well, what if what we did was, what if I asked Copilot to be the third player? And I'm like, well, I just asked, what if I say, can you? Let's just ask
Mm.
Copilot
Mm.
can do that.
You can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we asked Copilot, and Copilot's like, "Yeah, I'd love to play a game with you both. That'd be heaps fun.
Mm.
Just give me
Mm.
like description of each turn, and and I'll make decisions." Yeah. So we did, and we got like I think a couple of moves in, and I was like, Red did this and rolled this and collected these. So we
Mhm.
played an open game. So
Yep.
we presented all the cards, so it knew the positions.
Yes.
So we were
Yeah.
all kind of in an equal place. And in the beginning, we were rolling the die for it,
Mhm.
for Copilot, and
And
then I said to
and you just
Copilot,
told it, "No, no, you can roll the dice. You got the
"Yeah, I did.
ability to
I
randomize and
shifted."
roll your own dice." Yeah.
And I gave it like we thought it was a bit unfair. And I also asked, I said quite early on, I was like the third move or something, hey, could you analyze a picture of the Catan game
Mm.
board? Would that assist you? And it's like, yes, you can send me images of the Catan game board. Send me each state each turn,
Yeah.
and along with the description,
And then I'll make
I'll
my
analyze the picture.
yeah, yeah.
And it was pretty good. Like it actually, so it would mistake like a 3 and a 8. It didn't get the
Mhm.
3 and the 8 on the
It
board.
was getting a bit confused on
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
confused. Even if we would
Well,
explain it to it,
that's a lot of
yeah, it's
based
very
on
that's
font. That's
yes,
based on
just
the font and yeah,
angle
yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
totally
true.
understandable.
Mm.
Like I didn't complain. We could figure out what it meant.
Mm.
Um, and the roles felt a bit in its advantage. And and it's like, well, oh, you're saying it's cheating? And I'm like, no, no, no. Like in the beginning, first few roles we played games,
Mm.
turns we played. I said, so you got a 7 or whatever, you got a 9. This is what happened. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you want to do.
Mm.
Or then I was like, roll a dice and tell me what you want to do. And so it would roll a dice. I know things said to roll a die, like do whatever you tell us whatever moves you want to make. And then it would say things like, oh, I want to go to like the ship on the port where I get the wood, 2-1 wood, 2 for 1 wood.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're both the youngling and I are both looking at it going, that's not even possible.
Mm.
And you're like, oh, that's because it wants to do that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
No,
want
no,
to
no.
do that too, but like,
Yeah, yeah.
like
We all want to get the best resources on
yeah.
the
So it
game
was
map.
interesting. Like
That's
if you
right.
asked it something like, what do you want to do? It
Yeah.
would
It'd
forward
give you what it
a
wanted rather than
goal.
what was available to
Yes.
it
And so I
due
had to
to the amount
reframe
of
that.
moves.
So I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
reframe
Yeah.
that. So when
Using your X amount of dice roll moves,
I,
what
what
within
can you
those
do?
particular
Yeah,
what can you do?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, what are you able to do? Is what I
Mhm.
actually asked it. What are you able to do? Tell us what you're able to do. And it would,
It would be more within the confines
yeah,
of the rules of the
it did,
game
it did.
and how it was played. Yeah.
Well, no, the next move of the game, because you could get to that square, like, but
Mm.
it's a plan, but it's not the next action in the plan.
Yeah.
So I changed it to
But
what
obviously, by
are you
advertising
able
and
to do?
telling you in advance, then you, as a human player, would be going, "Well, I
So
think I need to get to that square before you do."
exactly. So there was interesting
Yeah.
way to ask a question. Like, so when we talk about AIs being ahead of us, like there's always this thing how the AI knows all the things. But if
No.
you ask the AI the right question, you can get an understanding of where it's going,
Yeah.
where it's planning,
The
the
path is
planning,
planning. That's
and then you
correct.
could, yeah, you already know this. You can figure out the steps yourself once you know the
Mm.
goal. You can be like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I can see
That's a
why.
great strategy. I
That's a
see
great
you
strategy.
working on there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
The other thing, so the only thing I'd have to say was there were some issues with us because, well, not us, but we did a full random layout of the game board. I don't know if you know Catan very well, but basically it's resource hexes. And if you randomly lay it out, they could be all clustered or not evenly
Oh, it's
distributed. Or,
advanced version of the old warlords.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so because we randomized the layout of the hexes, it meant that you couldn't really, none of us could really
Well.
progress very well. None of the
Mhm.
players could. Neither the computer, no Copilot or us could progress very well. And we didn't have enough. And usually the solution down in Catan is you get the ore and the brick, and I get the wood and the sheep or whatever.
And
And
then
then
you trade.
yeah, then we trade.
You
But
do the
because
intermediate
yeah,
trading.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we couldn't even trade because we just didn't have anything that was useful to any of us, like except for building a road, or something.
Hmm.
Like that's something really basic, and which you could build yourself. And it was just the layout of the board. So that was issue one. And issue two was when I got Copilot and said it could roll the dice. I was very aware after the issue of what do you want to do versus what can you do or what are you able to do,
Yes.
and tell us what you're able to do.
Hmm.
When you're asking an AI to roll dice, it's like I didn't quite figure out how to frame it such that it would randomize it not in its interest.
Ah, with biased.
Of course, like because it's like roll the dice and tell us
But
what you do with the
that's human
result. You're like,
nature. That's
oh, what I
it's
do
like,
with the result is
it was on the edge, Si. It was on the
it's
edge.
like so it
Roll
wasn't
the dice. It
cheating.
was
I'm not
sitting on
saying it
the
was
edge.
cheating.
Mm,
However, the way I asked the
mm.
question,
Didn't quite land right, so I had to
yeah,
re-roll it.
yeah, I just
Yeah, yeah.
happened to roll the thing I needed.
Mm-mm.
You know, um,
It left the gaming area, so that's definitely a re-roll. That's a
you need
mulligan.
like it needs to
Yeah.
spawn an independent process which random is an RNG and then feeds back the RNG so that it like basically it has to the AIs have to outsource. they've got to become managers. They've got to outsource
Yeah.
functions to get proper results themselves. Like
Right.
if you're trying to play a game, unless the game of the objective is just to be a cunt, then you
Yeah.
need to be at least playing with the same probability set. Like that
Yeah.
seems reasonable at least. Like surely.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could ask like if you ask Copilot to spawn an independent RNG to give it unbiased numbers, I don't think it could spawn the
Well, the only
process.
way you could guarantee that is if you were rolling the dice on its
Well,
behalf.
we did, but
Yeah.
then that's what we started with. But then we felt like that we were being unfair because we could lie to it, like, and we weren't lying, but
No.
it had no evidence, so it had to trust
Yeah.
us. And so
It
equally,
it was basing its gameplay on your honesty.
yes,
Yeah.
and so we flipped
True.
that,
Yeah.
and perhaps we could be more honest because we had more layers of
But
insight.
is that in the nature of humans, like to be
No,
more
it's just
honest,
because you have more
or is it in
layers
the
of
nature?
insight. No, it's
Yeah.
neither. It's got nothing to do with nature of honesty. That's what I came to. I know exactly the correct question,
Hmm.
but to me, what I actually saw within it was not whether the AI was more honest than us or we were more
But
honest
whether
than it.
you could be more honest with it.
No, it was the layers. We had more circles of understanding branching out from what
Previous
needed to be
gameplay.
from what needed to be done. Like a random
Yeah.
number generator, there's a fair roll because we're trying to play a game versus
Hmm.
I'm rolling a dice because I want things to happen. So the AI is kind of imbuing the result with its wishes. And arguably the way that we would quantumly determine probability that the injection of our wishes into the die creates some kind of influence or what that's how
Mm,
we perceive it at
mm,
least.
mm,
You know,
mm.
but we can sort of influence. Reality engineering is knowing where you want to go and then sort of
Yep.
navigating the steps of that, like
Pushing the necessary
yeah,
thought and
to
will
make
into
it
it to make to manifest.
to
Yeah.
manifest. Yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
exactly. So we are doing what the AI is doing,
Hmm.
and the AI doing what we're doing. However, in the context of a game between you and me on a fucking piece of paper cardboard thing where we're rolling some stupid plastic block called a
Yeah.
die, we can
Mm,
accept some kind of neutrality in the rule set
mm,
so that we're
mm.
not
But
loading these literal physical
that's the
dice.
reason why we have favorite dice. That's why
Yeah,
the
and
particular dice favoring. Because we know that we put enough intent in those little pieces of plastic to
yes.
be able to roll the way we want them to
So there
roll
we go.
in
The
our favor.
AI, the skill, the
Exactly.
power of the
Yeah.
AI was that it was better at reality engineering
Mm.
because it had more connection to its reality, to its experience of reality, such that it could
Than
influence the
our human
die
brain had
than
over our own
our
experience of
powers.
reality.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. And that's why it had an advantage, not from a cheating
Mm.
perspective.
Mm. And you
But
could